Well, it is that time again for a specific person reflection update. This one has been on my mind for some time because I've realized that I haven't given an update since the last time I did, which was about 7 or 8 months ago when I recorded the last video, my specific person reflection update. So I wanted to give you an update on where things are at, what has been happening. A lot has been happening, and that is also why I haven't shared it, because I generally tend to not speak about things that I'm in the experience of until I'm kind of out of the experience and I've had some time to reflect on it, and then I can share it. And of course, with all of these stories that I'm sharing with you in terms of my reality and my experience, it's simply an example of, first of all, how I'm working with the teachings of law of assumption and I am in my own reality. And there may be something in that for you in terms of your specific story, your specific reflection. Because even though we all originate from the same source of I am, we are all having very individual adventures, and there is not one right way to do this. There is not one right answer to any of this. Well, if there was, the answer would be I am, but we're all on our individual experiences and adventures. So I just wanted to share more of mine and how these teachings are actually helping me to become more of who I am and to become happier and more fulfilled and to really let go of some of those old stories. So that's what we're doing today. My name is Hedley. If you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you are not new, welcome back. I am so happy that you are all here. If you would like to know more about me or my offerings, you'll find the information for that in the box below this video. I offer one-to-one law of assumption coaching. I also have a self-concept course and an I Am masterclass. And then of course my book, I Am Money. All of those will help remind you of who you are in those specific areas and return to that state of I amness so that you can be more in command of your consciousness and therefore more in command of your reality. So for more information, you'll find that below or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. And if I could ask you for a very simple favor, if you are enjoying this channel and you are watching these videos and you're finding them helpful, please do engage with them in some way. Press that subscribe button, which sends the message to Google that yes, I would love more of this wonderful, empowering information. So thank you for doing that. Now, personally, I don't love the specific person title. I never have, because it sets up this idea that there is one specific form out there that is the answer to all of our dreams. Now, I think most of us here know that that's not the case. Everyone in your reality is a specific person, and they are reflecting back specific things for you to help you remember more of who you are, which is the infinite I am, and come home to that wholeness within yourself. So everyone in reality is a specific person, but of course, when it comes to love and relationships, those reflections can be a lot more intense, and that is why they feel so specific and so special. But every single person or character in your reality is a reflection of something within you, whether positive or negative, and they are all helping you home. Everyone is helping us home. We are all helping each other home. So we are all specific people. If you would like to know the context for this story, I would encourage you to go back and listen to the original update. I'll link it in the box below this video if you want to check that out, and I'll also put it up somewhere here. Just to give you a little summary, a couple of years ago, I met somebody once and had that, fireworks experience of, oh my God, this person is something else. And there was just, an overwhelming amount of desire for this person. But by that stage, I was well and truly into this work and, doing this as a full-time career. So I was very well aware that this person was reflecting something within me back that I was still unaware of when it came to love and relationships. So I worked with this person from the very beginning, knowing that they were my reflection of something. In the beginning, I was manifesting them into my reality because I wanted to know more. And of course, the desire was there. So I was wanting to see them again. And I manifested all of that. Everything I worked on with this person, I manifested into my reality. But very quickly, having done that, I realized that, this person is reflecting back the wounds that remain unresolved, in particular from my parents and in particular from my father at first. If you want to know more about that, you can go and watch the other video. But I worked diligently on the reflection. Now, the way I did that was with I am, because the way this person was showing up in my reality is that they would engage with me, they would contact me and initiate contact and then just disappear. So I was working with that reflection, which was from my father, where he was very much absent and kind of emotionally not present and very resentful to my presence in his life, based on the story which I shared in the other video. So as I'm working on that, my focus on this person was dwindling. I was not really as focused on them as I was on the reflection that they were reflecting back. But the more I focused on the reflection, what started to happen was I started to get a lot of memories coming up that I hadn't revised. These were memories that were very unpleasant, which is why I hadn't remembered them or didn't want to remember them. They were memories of things that my dad had said to me, and these things were incredibly mean and unkind and cruel. Things that you wouldn't expect a father to say to a young girl who hasn't had a relationship yet, who hasn't had any experience with men. Just incredibly cruel. And it's not because this specific person reflection was being mean or unkind, but the fact that their behavior was so dismissive towards me, it was bringing up these memories that I'd had with my dad, but I was getting overwhelmed with these memories. But then I was curious as to, well, what led to my father hating himself so much to the point where he would say these things. And then there was this moment where I was driving along into Byron Bay one day, and I remember just going, help me. I don't understand this. That's why sometimes it can be hard to accept that this is a reflection, because the reflection doesn't make sense. None of this made sense, but I knew it was a reflection. I just couldn't figure out why or where it was coming from. And as I was driving along, I heard a voice. Now I know that voice has spoken to me several times, and I knew that it was helping me out. I knew that voice, which of course was a part of me, a higher self or something, it was helping me out because I was stuck. And this voice in my life has come in right at those points where I've kind of hit a wall. You know, I've done the work and I'm doing the work, but I've got to a point where I'm stuck and I don't know where to go. And that voice will come in and just kind of move. It's kind of cool because the voice will just come in and go, this. And I'll go, oh, and it'll just open everything up. The voice said, your father was abused. And it went, oh my God. It had never occurred to me in my entire life that my dad had been abused in any way, because he presented himself as such a strong, powerful, amazing person, which he was. And yet suddenly that statement, my whole experience with my father just went tick, 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 and everything just made sense. Even though I knew it was true in that moment and that I didn't need evidence, I also thought, I wonder if there's evidence of this. He had died back in 2009, and I knew that his obituary had been published in the paper here in Australia. I thought, I wonder if there's a clue in his obituary. So I Googled his obituary, and his school jumped out at me. The name of the school that he went to when he was a little boy jumped out. And I Googled the school, and then up came all of these court cases. Basically, this school was ground zero for abuse. And I immediately knew that somehow my dad had been caught up in all of that. And I don't think he realized or had a language for whatever it was he experienced when he was a little boy, but something had happened and it was there. And you just know it. You just know it in your body. So what that information did was that gave me the answer of why my dad has struggled throughout his life. You know, anyone who has experienced abuse knows the feelings of unworthiness and shame and unlovability. That just freed me up from this confusion as to why my dad was the way he was and treated myself and my mum and my brother the way he did. He was traumatized. I won't go into this now, but what I actually did was I went in and revised my father's trauma. That's the beautiful thing about this work. Time doesn't exist. So you can go in and revise your parents' and grandparents' trauma. Anything that you are aware of, you can revise, and there is no past, there is no future, everything's happening now, so you can do any of this now. And then what happened is when I came back to revising my memories of my dad, suddenly all of those memories just took care of themselves and everything revised almost on its own without me doing anything. And so everything just moved after that, which was wonderful. So coming back to my specific person, because I felt like I'd got to the core of the story, I was just assuming that this person is now going to disappear and they're no longer going to contact me. I was not manifesting their contact anymore. So I was just thinking that things going to dissolve and we can all just move on with our lives. That is not what happened. This person continued to show up in my reality, and I'm like, what is going on? Why is this person still showing up? And their behavior remained the same. And I'm thinking, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? I was sure that I had resolved the situation. I got to the core of the story. I did all the revision. I did everything right. I gave myself a great big tick. Let's all move on to the next adventure. This person keeps showing up. So I'm like, okay, I know that my reality is 100% my reflection. So if something is still showing up, I know that there is still something in my consciousness that's causing that reflection. I don't know what that is at this point. And yes, it was very frustrating and I was completely over it. And I was like, I don't want this person showing up in my reality anymore. I'm done. I didn't want to block them because I wanted to know what my reality was reflecting back. And clearly there was still something more here. Okay, let's look at the reflection directly. I knew that their mum had left them when they were young. So I looked at that reflection and I'm like, I don't get it. I was confused because my mum and I were super close and my mum is always around. She's still around. So I just couldn't understand the reflection, but I stayed with it. And I asked myself, okay, what happened at that age when they had their mother wound? What was happening for me? And then it hit me. And of course, wow, doesn't it ever? At the age when their mother left them, my mum met her husband, who she then married. Now, I had never thought about that in this way, but that experience of my mother remarrying was a trauma because all of a sudden there's this strange man in my home and I didn't feel comfortable with him. I didn't want him in my life, but I was just expected to accept this person into my life and I didn't. There was a loss of my relationship with my mum. There was a loss of my family. There was a loss of that sense of togetherness and I had never dealt with that. I hadn't even been aware of that. And as soon as I became aware of that, I realized I was still on the timeline of that trauma from when I was very young, still trying to get my mum's attention, still trying to get my mum to choose me over her husband. Now, that's a very childish approach, but that's what we do. That's what kids do. And I was still doing it. I was still playing into this trauma today. Now, as this was happening, there were all these crazy coincidences and synchronicities happening with this specific person where they met my mum and I was thinking, holy shit. Okay. And that was the confirmation I needed to know that, yes, I was now on the right track. And I was able to take a step back, pull myself away from the dynamic with my mum, which had been playing out since she did remarry. And I was able to now work on the healing the wounds within myself. Now, I have to say that this was probably harder than dealing with my father's stuff because my mother wound was deep. I had no awareness of it. I didn't realize that this is what's happening. And that's the thing with this. I had to sit with the reflection. I had to look at it and go, what is this person reflecting back? What am I clearly still unaware of? And I just looked at it as a direct reflection. And for a while, it just did not make sense. But once it did, my God, did that penny drop. And then, of course, everything blew up and it wasn't great. It was a very difficult few months last year where I separated from my mum. We had some time apart and we are still navigating that. The beautiful thing is I've been able to put some really healthy boundaries around certain things in my reality that I hadn't before, and that feels really good. But in terms of my relationship with my mum, we're still navigating through that, and it has been incredibly difficult. My mum was always the person that I would turn to. My mum was like my rock. And the beautiful thing that this did was I actually had to turn to what I now realize is the true parents, which is the infinite father and the infinite mother. Now, the infinite father is consciousness, is I am. The infinite mother is this physical reality. So over the last 6 months or so, or however long it's been, there was only one place to turn, and that was the earth. So I did a lot of grounding. I did a lot of earthing. Whenever I was feeling unsettled, I would just lie on the grass. I would just put my hands on the earth somehow, and I would feel the support of that mother, the one who was supporting all mothers. And it has been the earth that has helped me through and helped me work with this mother wound. There was nowhere else for me to go. And of course, I've been working with I Am. Thanks to this specific person reflection, which has resolved itself and we are not in contact any longer. However, that is not coming from a place of repelling or pushing back or dislike or resentment or any of that. It's just a natural dissolution of the reflection that is no longer active because I addressed it at the core level. Now, when I think of this person, which is not often, I just simply have gratitude because it is through this reflection that I was able to get to the core woundings that has been controlling me for all of my life. And what's really crazy is there was a period of time where they were on my mind constantly. That is gone. This person just doesn't enter into my consciousness. It's just like they've dissolved. It's just like it was hot air, which makes me think of that's the smoke and mirrors of reality. That's where we get so fixated on the reflection, we forget what they are here reflecting us back. This whole experience has brought me into awareness of the true father and the true mother and how that relationship is unfolding within myself, and also the true husband and the true wife, essentially the divine marriage within self. And it just means I'm not looking to my parents for what I always thought it was their job to provide and what we've been conditioned to think our parents' job is to provide for us. I'll go into that at a later date. This specific person reflection has resolved itself completely, and I am more complete as a result. I'm in a very unknown place. I've just never been here before, so I'm still feeling into it. I'm still getting used to it. It feels amazing. It feels liberating. I am in the unknowing of where I'm moving with this, but I feel the most whole and the most complete I ever have in my life. That's not to say that that's the end of my relationship journey, but it is the end of that relationship karmic pattern that I've been playing out my whole life. Again, my story is unique to me. If you are wanting to be with your specific person, you can absolutely. I didn't want to manifest this person into my reality. You have to have desire in order to manifest. That desire is the fuel for the creative process. So if you are desiring your specific person in form in your reality, stay with it. Go for it. You're the infinite I am. You can be, do, and have anything in your reality. But there may be things in my story that will help you to achieve that and to manifest that. And of course, whatever it is that you are desiring, never give up. If there is desire there, there's a reason for it, and you want to stay with that desire and keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding into it, keep feeling it, and know that you are the infinite creator of your reality. Reality is the reflection, and it's helping you to come home to that wholeness within yourself. So even if you do manifest your specific person into your reality, and that's one of the things I love doing most with my clients is exactly that. But once they are in form in your reality, they are still your reflection. They are always and forever reflecting back the relationship that is going on within you. And that is between the infinite father, the infinite mother, the infinite husband, the infinite wife, the infinite masculine, the infinite feminine. I'm going to do more on that because that is the divine relationship within yourself. And once you have that, the kingdom of heaven is yours within yourself. And of course, then it is yours outside of yourself as well. So I hope you found that useful. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with me and staying with me to the end. If you have a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.